age pension 101. This is the basics of age pension that you need to know. So age pension is a payment from the government, and eligibility starts from age 67. So you must meet an income, asset, and residency test. So the residency test for anyone who is new to Australia is typically 10 years of living in Australia. So the income test includes something called deeming. So it's not just what the income that you generate from employment is, and it's not even the income that the investments make. Instead, they calculate a deeming rate based on the balance of your investable assets. So it's a slightly different treatment than what the actual dividends and income streams that are produced by those investable assets. A full age pension couple will receive $44,855 currently, and singles $29,754. So if we think back to the slide before, which showed that you need $73,000 to have at least a comfortable retirement, then you can see that living on just the age pension is, in a way, an uncomfortable retirement, and it certainly is. So we want to make sure that we've got superannuation and other investable assets as well as a potential age pension. So as a homeowner couple, you could get a part pension if your assets are below $1,045,000. And that doesn't include your primary residence. So you can actually have a $5 million primary residence, and as long as your assets are below a certain point, you can still get a part or full pension. So in that example, let's say you had $500,000 for you and your spouse, and in superannuation and your primary residence, then you could still get a partial pension. And sometimes it's important to actually get the part pension because the pension discount card is actually worth around about $5,000 a year. So things like council rates, utilities discounts, public transport discounts can be really, really large. So you actually want to get a part pension, not so much for the actual amount you get from the government, but more so for the discount. So often if you're around that 1,045,000, sometimes people do strategies to get just below to get all those discounts. Next, as a homeowner couple, you could get a full pension if your assets are below $470,000. So you've got your house, let's say, paid off. You've got $200,000 each in a superannuation account, $50,000 in cash account. You'd be getting the full age pension there, so of $44,855. Now, if you think that you've still got, $450,000 of investable assets, and that'll be generating you income, so let's say around about 5%, then that could be around about $22,500 a year of income. And if you add that to the $45,000, then you can see we're getting quite close to that $73,000 a year. And you could choose to draw down some of the capital of your super each year to be able to have a slightly more comfortable retirement as well. So as I mentioned before, strategies are often available if you're just below receiving a partial pension. So if your assets are just above the $1,045,000 for a couple, not including the home, sometimes people do things like renovate their house if they need to, because that reduces their bank balance but increases the asset value of the house, which isn't included. Sometimes they'll buy things called annuities, which have a partial asset test exemption. It's a type of investment product that pays generally a guaranteed income stream for a certain amount of time. You can buy funeral bonds up to a certain amount, around about $15,000, which aren't accessible. And you can also gift some money to children. Again, there's small caps there, so only $10,000 a year, up to a maximum of $30,000 across 5 years. So that's really only a strategy if you have a goal to gift money to someone. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your children. It's just the most common thing we see. If that's your goal, firstly, and if you're just above that asset test limit. Now, if you're both retired or working rarely, so you're not going above the income test areas, and you have an age gap between you and your partner, you could receive extra Centrelink. So let's say you have one partner who is 67 now, and another partner who's 60. Well, a common strategy there is to put more money into the superannuation account of the younger spouse, because superannuation is not accessible as an asset until you reach age 67. So you can see, by moving more money from potentially the 67-year-old's pension account or savings or whatever it might be into the superannuation account, then you effectively have less assets and therefore can get a greater rate of age pension. Now, one consideration for that is you will then be paying the 15% tax on earnings on the extra superannuation account, but typically that's a far better outcome than not getting the extra age pension.